A butterfly flaps its wings, a movement so small it seems meaningless. Yet days later, thousands of miles away, it can change the fate of a storm. We like to believe the world is predictable. Clear causes, clear effects. A future that can be calculated and controlled. But some systems don't work that way. No matter how much data you collect, no matter how powerful your calculations become, this isn't magic. This isn't destiny. This is the mathematics of chaos. Today, through the story of the butterfly effect, we'll explore the limits of prediction, the illusion of control, and how tiny initial conditions can reshape entire futures. If you're curious about the hidden structures behind reality, the unseen frameworks that govern complex systems, welcome to the Hidden Framework. Subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications, because here we don't just watch the world, we learn how it really works. As I type this, a butterfly in Brazil has just flexed its wings, redirecting air molecules in a quantum dance we're barely beginning to comprehend. 6 days from now, a catastrophic tornado will form in Texas that otherwise wouldn't have existed. This isn't magic or mysticism. It's chaos theory mathematics, what scientists call sensitive dependence on initial conditions. We've nicknamed it the butterfly effect, after that poetic but scientifically sound example. We expect the world to function predictably. Drop a stone, it falls. But complex systems, weather patterns, stock markets, pandemic spreads defy this simplicity. Minute, unmeasurable differences in starting conditions can cascade into radically different outcomes. The mathematics was discovered in 1963 by meteorologist Edward Lorenz. Running weather simulations, he rounded a number from 0.50617 to 0.506. That tiny difference, invisible in practical measurement, completely transformed his predicted weather pattern. It was mathematical proof that perfect weather forecasting beyond a few days is fundamentally impossible, not just technologically challenging. This limitation extends everywhere. Why couldn't economists predict the 2008 crash? Why did pandemic models vary so wildly? The butterfly's wings were flapping, and we couldn't measure them precisely enough. Pop culture has warped this concept almost beyond recognition. Time travelers worry about stepping on butterflies. Spiritual seekers find cosmic meaning in coincidence. Everything happens for a reason gets scientific veneer. But the actual butterfly effect tells us something profoundly different. That the world contains systems of such intricate complexity that perfect prediction is mathematically impossible. Not just difficult, impossible. Throughout this series, we'll examine the scientific backbone of chaos theory, its philosophical implications about determinism and free will, and how its cultural metaphors both illuminate and obscure its meaning. Where is the butterfly effect real, and where is it just a convenient narrative trick? The mathematics points to a universe where the future isn't written, not because of quantum randomness or divine intervention, but because the script is too complex for any cosmic calculator to process. Perfect knowledge would require impossible precision, and in that fundamental limitation might be something remarkably close to what we experience as choice, as possibility, as freedom. A hologram shimmers before Dr. Yang's team, mathematical coordinates floating in three-dimensional arrays. She points to a pulsing node where lines converge in chaotic spirals. This is why prediction fails beyond 3 days, she explains to the military observers. Weather patterns are deterministic but non-linear. The butterfly effect isn't poetic, it's mathematical certainty. Major Collins frowns. The Chinese weather anomalies aren't natural. Yang's fingers dance across her console, expanding the simulation. Correct, these perturbations show artificial initialization. Someone's manipulating initial conditions across the Pacific, exploiting sensitivity dependence. The facility's alarm blares, monitors flash red as a technician shouts, "Typhoon formation accelerating, Category 5 within 12 hours." "Impossible," she whispers, "unless—" Collins' phone buzzes. His face hardens as he reads. Nanodrones, thousands released over the ocean, temperature manipulation at microscale. Yang's eyes widen. That's the missing variable. They're creating precise perturbations at critical points in the phase space. The simulation explodes with new data paths, attractors splitting into fractal patterns of devastation. They're weaponizing chaos theory, Yang says, not controlling the weather, just nudging initial conditions towards catastrophic attractors. Collins barks orders into his comm. Can we counter? We need to identify their Lyapunov exponents, Yang replies, fingers flying, the mathematical fingerprint of their manipulation. Technicians rush between stations, screens fill with probability maps and divergence calculations. There, Yang isolates a pattern. They're using a double pendulum algorithm targeting shipping lanes, military bases. We have 12 hours, Collins says. No, Yang corrects. The butterfly's already flapping. We can't stop the typhoon, but we can introduce our own perturbations. She overlays a new simulation, smaller atmospheric interventions splitting the storm's path. We can't predict exactly how it diverts, but we can ensure it misses population centers. Collins nods. Do it. Yang initiates the countermeasure program. Outside, specialized aircraft prepare for launch, carrying precision atmospheric modifiers. Butterfly against butterfly, she murmurs, watching probability clouds shift across the map. The typhoon's potential paths multiply exponentially, some devastating, some merely destructive, none entirely predictable. That's chaos theory, Major. We're all just pushing butterflies and hoping. Eliza's fingers danced across the predictive algorithm's console, inputting the first butterfly wing pattern into the system. Commander, I've isolated the minimum variance threshold. 1 micrometer difference at origin leads to complete weather system collapse at day 39. Too slow, Commander Hayes snapped, staring at the massive hurricane projection spinning over the Pacific. The orbital authority needs actionable forecasts by tomorrow. That's the problem, Eliza said, her voice tense as she pushed back from the holographic display. The mathematics is sound, but even with quantum computing, we can't account for all variables. Watch this. She ran 2 identical simulations side by side, changing only the initial position of a single air molecule by nanometers. By day 7, the projections diverged completely, one showing clear skies, the other a Category 5 hurricane. "We've reached the deterministic boundary," she explained. "Beyond this point, perfect prediction is mathematically impossible, not just technically difficult."
Hayes slammed his fist on the table. "The settlement projects on Mars need weather certainty. The Authority promised predictability." Eliza countered, pulling up the equations. Laplace's demon was always a fantasy. Some systems are fundamentally unpredictable beyond certain time frames, no matter how much computing power. The alarm blared. Red warnings flashed across every screen. "Someone's accessing the control satellites," Eliza shouted, fingers racing across the interface. "They're not just observing the weather, they're triggering deliberate perturbations." Hayes paled. "Who would—" "The Terra Ultima group," Eliza realized, horror dawning. "They don't want predictability, they want chaos. They're introducing calculated instabilities into atmospheric systems." On the main display, hundreds of tiny intervention points appeared globally, microscopic energy pulses altering critical atmospheric junction points. "They're weaponizing the butterfly effect," Hayes whispered. Eliza initiated emergency protocols, but the damage was propagating through unpredictable pathways. "I can't stop it. The system's too sensitive now. Each intervention multiplies exponentially." Outside, the sky darkened unnaturally fast. "Can you counter-pattern it?" Hayes asked desperately. Eliza shook her head, watching the cascading chaos unfold across the global weather model. "That's the point. Once triggered, even we can't predict where this ends." She looked up grimly. "No one can." The mathematics department was in chaos that morning. Professor Elena Ramirez stared at the unfolding catastrophe on multiple screens while sirens blared outside her office window. 50 years of chaos theory, and we still couldn't predict this, she muttered, tracking the cascading failure patterns. On her center screen, a simulation showed the iconic butterfly-shaped Lorenz attractor warping dangerously. The patterns that Edward Lorenz had discovered in 1963 were now manifesting in the real-world climate system. "The Poincaré resonance is amplifying," her graduate student Paolo said, pointing to oscillating weather patterns. "Just like the three-body problem he described, we can't—" "We don't have time for history lessons," Elena interrupted. She pulled up the original 1963 paper, Deterministic Non-Periodic Flow. The foundation of chaos theory had begun with a simple rounding error in Lorenz's weather simulation. Decimals truncated from 0.506127 to 0.506. That tiny difference had produced wildly divergent outcomes. The emergency phone rang. "Dr. Ramirez, NOAA needs your models now." She transferred the data while pulling up another historical document, Lorenz's 1972 lecture with its famous question, "Does the flap of a butterfly in Brazil set off a tornado in Texas?" The warning system flashed red. 3 Category 5 hurricanes were forming simultaneously. Gleick popularized chaos in the 80s, but nobody took the warning seriously, Paolo said, frantically adjusting parameters.
They thought Jurassic Park was just entertainment. Outside, the sky darkened prematurely. Elena's mind flashed to Bradbury's A Sound of Thunder, where a single crushed prehistoric butterfly altered the future. Perhaps that story had influenced Lorenz's imagery more than anyone acknowledged. "The system's too sensitive now," she said, watching the simulated attractor stretch beyond recognition. "The butterflies aren't just flapping, they're creating feedback loops." On screen, the hurricanes began merging into something meteorologists had no classification for. Elena grabbed her emergency kit. This is beyond management theories and self-help metaphors now. Paolo looked up from his calculations. Dr. Vale's phone buzzed, a message from James York himself. Watched Veritasium's new video yet? They've connected the dots. Too late. The lab door burst open. A woman in a charcoal suit entered, flanked by security. Dr. Natalia Reeves, Department of Strategic Stability. "You've been tracking the pattern spread?" Chen nodded towards the visualization. Mandelbrot's mathematics. The cognitive contagion follows power laws. "The popularizers accelerated everything," Reeves said, dropping a tablet displaying viral social metrics. Gleek's book laid groundwork, but it was the science communicators who unwittingly created perfect transmission vectors. 3 blue, 1 brown's visual explanations, Vsauce's thought experiments. "It's not just weather versus climate misconceptions anymore," Vale said. "The Heritage Foundation is using complexity theory to dismantle regulatory frameworks. Open theism theologians are leveraging chaos mathematics for doctrinal warfare." The building shuddered as something exploded nearby. "They're using it as a weapon now," Reeves whispered. "Both sides, amplifying tiny informational inputs to create maximal social turbulence." Chen's algorithm flagged a new data point. "The correction teams can't keep pace. Critical historians, methodological purists, they're being systematically isolated from information channels." The monitors displayed fractal patterns pulsing across global communication networks, neural-like, alive. "We need to implement the damping protocol," Vale said, unlocking a secure terminal. "You can't stop it," Reeves countered. "The libertarian think tanks have already built ideological firewalls using the same mathematical principles. They're calling it complexity-driven resilience." The building shook again. Through the window, they watched as crowds moved with eerie synchronization, like starlings in murmuration. "It's no longer about controlling the system," Chen said, watching the patterns propagate. "It's about surviving its logic." In the depths of a converted monastery, Professor Klein stood before a supercomputer called Laplace. "The demon awakens," he whispered, as the system initiated its predictive algorithm, designed to map every cause and effect in a closed environment. Behind the glass observation wall, 12 test subjects entered a sealed chamber, unaware that Laplace was calculating their every potential movement for the next hour. "Heraclitus said we never step into the same river twice," Klein told his graduate assistant. "Laplace proves otherwise. Given sufficient data, everything is predetermined." The observation chamber was a perfect Newtonian universe. Controlled temperature, measured objects, known variables. Laplace had been fed everything. "Prediction accuracy at 99.8%, the system announced. On screen, a simulation showed exactly how the subjects would arrange themselves, which puzzles they would select, even their conversations. In the real chamber, events unfolded identically to the prediction. "Science has finally conquered uncertainty," Klein declared. "The Cold War dream of perfect prediction." A subject knocked over a cup of water. Laplace hadn't predicted this. "Minor deviation," Klein dismissed. "Recalculating." But the subject's behaviors began diverging wildly from prediction. One woman stood motionless. Two men argued over nothing. The simulation and reality desynchronized completely. "Impossible!" Klein frantically checked the system. All variables were accounted for. His assistant pointed to the ventilation system. "Except that, a hairline fracture in the duct, butterfly wings creating a hurricane." Laplace's displays flashed red, calculating infinite outcomes. "Shut it down," Klein ordered, but it was too late. Laplace had encountered chaos theory in action, attempting to map every possible outcome in an expanding universe of possibilities. "The karmic web is too complex," whispered his assistant, a practicing Buddhist. "Every cause has infinite effects." As Laplace's processors melted down, Klein watched the observation chamber. The subjects had spontaneously arranged themselves in a circle, holding hands. Something had emerged from chaos, order unpredicted by his perfect system. Klein's life's work collapsed before him, but he felt strange relief. Perhaps some things remain beyond calculation, he said, watching the remaining monitor where Laplace displayed its final message.
Prediction error. Leibniz's contingency detected. Complex system status incalculable. Divine providence confirmed. Zhang observes the Lorenz graph on her display, the butterfly-shaped strange attractor twisting unpredictably. The double pendulum test chamber hums nearby as the team studies chaos theory applications for climate modeling. Weather modeling horizons at 11 days, as predicted, she notes. Tamir nods. And the climate boundary values remain stable despite the chaos. The separation is holding. A crash outside interrupts them. Alarms blare as Zhang's display shifts to security feed. 6 armed figures force entry through the eastern perimeter. "Lyapunov Analytics," Tamir whispers. "Corporate espionage."
They've been tracking their work on engineered stability systems. Zhang locks down the sensitive data. They think we're hiding homeostatic control technology. We are, just not what they imagine. Armed figures reach their floor. They have minutes, maybe less. They'll use our research to claim markets follow low-dimensional chaos patterns, Tamir says, sell predictive models to investment firms. That's an explicit misapplication, says Zhang. Financial systems are high-dimensional, not chaotic in the mathematical sense. Tell that to their investors. Footsteps approach. Zhang uploads backup data to their secured cloud. She activates the emergency protocol, the demonstration model of their dampening system. "What are you doing?" Tamir asks, making a point about overstating chaos. The attackers breach the lab door. The leader steps forward. "Your research on ecological stability mechanisms, hand it over." Zhang smiles coldly. "You fundamentally misunderstand our work." She engages the demonstration model. The climate control system activates, not to stabilize, but to amplify.
Condensation forms instantly on walls. Wind patterns generate within the sealed room as temperature gradients form. Small initial conditions, Jiang says, as miniature storm systems begin circulating, greatly amplified outcomes. The attackers back toward the door as localized weather cells form around them. Weather isn't climate. Initial values versus boundary conditions. You can't predict specifics beyond 2 weeks, but trends remain stable. The lead attacker raises his weapon, but a concentrated microburst knocks him back. The system is designed to demonstrate chaos, not control it, Tamir explains, as security finally arrives. The intruders are detained, but Jiang's demonstration continues unabated, growing stronger. "Can you shut it down?" Tamir asked. "That's the point," Jiang replies, watching the patterns multiply. Once truly chaotic systems are unleashed, there's no going back. The orbital lab rattled as another meteor hit the shield array. Dr. Ellis watched silently as 6 different monitoring systems tracked the fragmentation patterns of the debris field. "The mathematics are beautiful," he said, pointing to a fractal pattern emerging on the main screen. "See how the debris splits predictably at macro scale, but becomes completely unpredictable below certain thresholds?" Alarms blared. Captain Reza cut him off. "Forget your chaos theory. The climate model's predicting a Category 6 hurricane forming over Bangladesh in 36 hours. "Impossible," Dr. Khatri argued, manipulating neural interface controls. "The ensemble forecasts show nothing beyond Category 4. "That's because you're using standard forcing parameters," Reza said. "Someone's been dumping thermal accelerant into the Bay of Bengal. Look." The screen showed military vessels releasing something dark into the water. Temperature readings spiked along the discharge path. "We need to warn them," Ellis said. "With what evidence?" asked Professor Takeda, entering from the theology module. 3 different models, 3 different outcomes. The quantum fluctuations are too significant at this scale. "But the pattern," Ellis insisted. "The basin attractors are clear." "The Pentagon will dismiss it as deterministic fantasy," Khatri interrupted. "After the Sudan prediction fiasco, they've rejected all social physics models. They're using game theory exclusively now. Their loss, the historical precedents, are just stories we tell ourselves," Takeda said. "Open futures require open minds." The station trembled again, larger impact. "The debris field is evolving faster than predicted," Reza announced. "Shield integrity at 64%. Run the process theology simulation again, Illis suggested, the one with emergent properties. Khatri's fingers flew over the interface. Even with quantum indeterminacy factored in, the system still shows the storm hitting Chittagong with catastrophic force. So we have both epistemic and ontological uncertainty, yet the outcome remains fixed, Takeda murmured. We need to act now, Riza decided. Transmit everything. All 6 disciplinary analyses, let them decide what's prediction and what's determinism. As the transmission began, the orbital lab's lights dimmed momentarily. Another impact? Illis asked. No, Riza said quietly. Someone's jamming our signal. In the sudden silence, they watched helplessly as the weather patterns below continued their inexorable organization into something monstrous. You can't keep doing these scenarios, Ambassador, I said, downloading the simulation to her neural interface. The Shanghai Accord is just a framework agreement. It's not designed for this level of escalation. Ambassador Chen's fingers danced through augmented air, manipulating probability clouds. That's exactly why I need these simulations, Dr. Reyes. Every minor climate intervention has cascading policy implications. The orbital station hummed as her staff prepared for the emergency summit. Outside, Earth hung like a marble jewel, its weather systems visibly altered by the Indonesian carbon capture failure. But you're testing governance failure points deliberately, I protested, watching her scenario where a small regulatory exemption for Arctic methane triggers a catastrophic legal precedent.
Of course I am. That's how we survive. Her eyes narrowed. Your Small Actions, Big Impact campaign worked wonderfully on civilians, everyone recycling, while corporations received complexity waivers. The station alarm blared. Incoming transmission from Beijing, announced the AI. Ambassador, the Premier's hologram flickered. The American response team has activated their atmospheric stabilizers without UN approval. Chen's face remained impassive. They're exploiting the emergency protocols loophole. Precisely. They're claiming regional sovereignty under Article 4. I pulled up the Cascade model. This isn't just about weather modification. They're establishing precedent for unilateral intervention, which their courts will uphold, Chen replied, while our coalition fractures over response thresholds. The station shuddered. Outside, a bloom of white erupted in the atmosphere over North America. The butterfly effect isn't just about weather, Chen said, watching Earth's changing patterns. It's about how systems of human responsibility break under pressure. My personal interface flashed with alerts from the Harmonization Committee. They're demanding psychological compliance audits. Mass anxiety suppressants are being distributed. Perfect, Chen whispered. Now we can implement the Singapore Protocol. I stared. You predicted this. You've been running intervention scenarios, looking for precisely this threshold moment? Yes. She opened a secure channel. This isn't chaos theory, Dr. Reyes. It's cultivated instability. The station rotated, revealing a fleet of Chinese atmospheric vessels moving into position. But the ecological consequences are entirely predictable when you understand that systems don't just fail, they can be pushed. The studio audience roared with laughter as the time travel comedy reached its punchline. On screen, the protagonist had changed his grandfather's first date, accidentally ensuring his own parents never met.
"Physics doesn't work that way," Miranda whispered to Jared. As cultural architects for Timecom's Temporal Continuity Division, they monitored entertainment for dangerous misconceptions. "Another butterfly effect fantasy," Jared replied, making notes. "We're dealing with 5 new alternate timeline series this month alone." Miranda's tablet flashed red. "Speaking of which, disturbance at CERN, quantum foam variance exceeding safe parameters." They slipped out as the credits rolled, the theater lobby showcasing posters for upcoming attractions, all featuring butterflies, spiral clocks, or branching realities. "It's spreading," Miranda said, gesturing to merchandise for the blockbuster Chaos Theory. Action figures of leather-clad chaoticians brandishing weapons amid fractalized dinosaur displays. Our car's navigation displayed fractal traffic patterns while they monitored CERN's situation. The facility's quantum calculators were experiencing unprecedented feedback loops, mimicking the visually striking but scientifically absurd Lorenz attractors from popular culture. "Containment breach," Jared reported. "Someone programmed the public-facing displays to show that butterfly nonsense instead of actual phase space data." Miranda pulled up security footage. A group wearing t-shirts from The Butterfly Effect Reborn had accessed the system. They're trying to prove parallel realities by forcing a bifurcation point. "The irony is they're creating the very thing they misunderstand," Jared said, watching real-time measurements spiral out of control. At CERN, they raced past tourists snapping photos with a giant butterfly sculpture recently installed in the visitors center. "We can't shut it down directly," Miranda said, fingers flying across the emergency console. "The entertainment science feedback loop is self-sustaining," Jared said, connecting their cultural database. "Counter-program with hard SF references, Ted Chiang, Liu Cixin, Egan's causal models." The system flickered as accurate chaos theory replaced the popular misconceptions, but alarms continued. "Too late," Miranda whispered. "The cultural narrative has physical consequences now." On monitors throughout the facility, the quantum foam stabilization displayed not as proper phase space diagrams, but as movie-style split screens showing diverging timelines, reality conforming to fiction rather than the reverse. "We've created a new problem," Jared said. "The system now thinks those parallel life narratives are its operating instructions." Behind them, visitors began recording what they thought was a special effect, unknowingly documenting the moment entertainment collapsed reality. The trending #Void Challenge was never meant to be dangerous. 2 million participants had already shared their meditative void state videos on MindSync, the new platform where neural data could be transmitted alongside video. "Just focus on absolute nothingness for 60 seconds, Arya instructed her followers. "The app captures your brainwaves through the headset." But when 7,000 people across 3 time zones simultaneously achieved perfect void during her live stream, something tore. 22 minutes later, Arya's phone pinged with reports of strange phenomena. Users seeing identical hallucinations, reality flickering, digital artifacts appearing in physical space. "You've created a mimetic feedback loop,"
Dr. Voss messaged her urgently. The synchronized void state has formed a collective information vacuum, and the system is filling it with something. Arya scanned the conspiracy forums exploding with activity. The CERN watchers claimed timeline shifts. Quantum mystics declared manifestation breakthrough. Skeptics demanded controlled studies. "Look at this," her roommate said, pointing to a trending graph. "Whenever someone posts debunking videos, the anomalies decrease by 17%. The Skeptic Coalition is organizing a counter-meme." Arya's screen glitched, displaying her live stream analytics as physical objects floating above her desk. She blinked, and they vanished. The platform's algorithm doesn't distinguish between neural patterns and actual reality, Dr. Voss explained via video call, his image occasionally pixelated into butterflies. 7,000 synchronized minds created a collective information vacuum, and the system is filling it with something. The hashtag Void Challenge tag now carried a warning label. Educational channels posted emergency videos explaining mass hallucination and network effects, while MindSync's engineers frantically trying patching their system. But the cascade was self-sustaining. Each new participant widened the breach. Arya watched a science communicator's desperate explanation video gaining traction. This isn't alternate realities or quantum magic. It's informational contagion. Stop sharing void state data.
Her phone buzzed with a MindSync security alert. Critical notice. Platform functioning outside parameters. Neural pattern corruption detected. Mandatory reset in 15 minutes. Too late. The void was already feeding itself, learning patterns, becoming self-referential. Whatever emerged from this convergence of technology and consciousness wouldn't be contained by a simple reboot. The boundary between physical and digital space had thinned dangerously, and nobody knew how to close it. A distant knocking at my door, then louder, urgent. I slide the bolt, and Agent Clark storms in with a tablet. "Professor, we need your expertise on chaos theory right now." The screen shows a satellite tracking multiple global weather systems with overlapping probability cones. Atmospheric models I recognize from my research. 3 separate systems predicting 3 different outcomes from identical starting conditions, Clark says. The Pentagon thinks the Russians weaponized our own climate models. That's not how chaos works. I pull up real-time data. Sensitivity to initial conditions doesn't mean everything is chaotic. Weather is genuinely unpredictable beyond 2 weeks, but climate has built-in robustness. What about these ecological impact projections? Our analysts claim someone manipulated butterfly migration patterns to trigger cascading failures. I scan the ecological model. Partial chaos at best. Complex systems have buffering mechanisms. Look at these forest recovery rates. Notice how they absorb disturbances. Clark paces nervously. The president needs practical guidance. What claims can we trust? What's conspiratorial nonsense? I type rapidly, organizing evidence tiers. Well-grounded, specific nonlinear systems exhibit chaotic properties. Moderately supported, brains, markets, and ecosystems show partial chaotic dynamics with stabilizing mechanisms. Weakly supported, claiming every tiny action has huge consequences, or that chaos proves free will. And complete fiction?
time travel butterflies rewriting reality, Mandela effect conspiracies about CERN experiments, shifting timelines, pure science fiction.
So, where's our vulnerability? Here, I highlight specific meteorological nodes. They're not creating chaos, they're exploiting the difference between genuinely chaotic systems versus robust ones, weather versus climate. They know exactly which buffers can be overwhelmed. Clark's secure phone buzzes. Too late. Emergency evacuation protocol initiated. Through the window, emergency sirens begin wailing. Not random chaos, but targeted exploitation of predictable system vulnerabilities. There's a difference between metaphorical butterflies and actual engineered cascade points, I said, gathering emergency supplies. Outside, the sky darkens unnaturally fast. Not chaotic, deliberately engineered. The emergency override finally worked. The quantum butterfly simulator's containment field flickered, then stabilized around the quantum butterfly. I slumped against the wall, exhausted. "We almost lost everything," Maya whispered, wiping blood from her temple. Behind the shimmering barrier, the artificial butterfly, a quantum probability field shaped like Earth's most elegant metaphor, beat its wings. Each flutter represented millions of potential futures branching through our prediction matrix. Director Chen limped forward, staring at the holographic display showing cascading probability trees. Kasparov wanted a weapon. He thought if we could predict chaos precisely, we could engineer specific outcomes, create targeted hurricanes, collapse economies with a keystroke. But he misunderstood the science, I said, scrolling through the damage report. The butterfly effect isn't absolute determinism. Complex systems have both sensitivity and robustness. The universe isn't just dominoes waiting to fall, Maya added, restarting the main simulation. Around us, technicians were restoring the facility. Kasparov's sabotage had nearly unleashed our quantum chaos models into the global network, a system designed to study unpredictability, almost becoming an instrument of precisely calculated destruction. We never should have called it Project Butterfly, Chen sighed. The metaphor became more powerful than the math. Lorenz was studying weather patterns, not building a philosophy. I watched the quantum butterfly's wings create rippling cascades through the probability field. The public thinks it means small causes guarantee specific large effects. That's not what chaos theory shows us. Maya nodded. It shows us limits to prediction, sensitivity alongside robustness. The facility's lights fully returned. Our quantum simulator continued its work, mapping the boundary between order and chaos, between what we could predict and what remained fundamentally uncertain. The most dangerous people, Chen said, watching the butterfly's wings pulse with quantum possibility, are those who believe they can control everything or nothing. I nodded. Epistemic humility without paralysis. That's what this teaches us. Outside our reinforced windows, real butterflies drifted past, orange monarchs migrating south, following ancient patterns through an unpredictable world. Small causes with large effects, yes, but embedded in systems too complex for any single wing beat to determine alone.
The butterfly effect.
doesn't mean that every small action guarantees a massive outcome. What it truly tells us is this: some systems can never be perfectly predicted. Not because we lack intelligence, but because the universe itself has limits. This isn't a flaw in reality, it's a fundamental feature of it. And perhaps what we call freedom emerges precisely from this uncertainty. If this story challenged the way you think, if it made you pause even for a moment, support the channel by liking the video. Subscribe to The Hidden Framework for more stories like this, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective helps this channel grow. Because we're not here to give easy answers. We're here to ask better questions. See you in the next story.